he feels big, like you feel his passion. Again, I'm with you. Like you don't know how that translates to wins and losses, but you do know to a capacity how that translates to recruiting. I mean, just that human element. Like this is a dude you want to kind of run through a wall for, and you could feel that. When we were up in the office, I was actually saying to him, I'm like, I don't know how this goes over in these offices anymore, which by the way are beautiful now.
Oh yeah.
But he reminds me of when Urban first got to Florida.
Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Meldon Law Studios at the Hacienda. Okay, welcome in to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Dooley Dome Studios here at the Hacienda. Appreciate everybody for listening and watching. We got a great show today. Jeff Darlington is going to join us from ESPN. Former UF student, of course, and a member of the College of Journalism Hall of Fame. So he's got that on me. And then Coach Spurrier on Monday. I'm working on Thursday's guest for next week. I'm going to work on it a lot when we get done here today. Got a couple calls. I don't want to say who it might be. I don't even want to go that far. It might be pretty big. Not that big. What would be the biggest guess I could get? No. I was going to say somebody, but no, that wouldn't be him. Anyway, and I do want to make sure, because this is a very special March Madness show today, and so we're posting it on Wednesday rather than Thursday, but we got everything covered here. But we're going to talk a lot of basketball, but also want to make sure we acknowledge that tomorrow is the anniversary of one of my favorite days, which is when my wife was born. Now, that means it's her birthday tomorrow. Okay, anyway, it's going to be a fun day. And so then we're going to head down, I think, this weekend to go to the basketball game. I do have a credential. Appreciate Florida for taking care of that. Look, they don't have to give me one, but they put me on the list. So I've got a credential. So I think we're going to go to the Sunday game. And we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. We may go down Friday. Anyway, happy birthday, Karen. Love you, as you know, and looking forward to having a good day tomorrow with her. Believe it or not, her birthday wish was to have a caviar tasting. So she ordered it, and it came yesterday in a refrigerator thing. So we're gonna have caviar tomorrow. Can't wait. All right, let us get to our moneymetals.com. Starting 5, brought to you by our friends at the Money Metals Exchange. Moneymetals.com is your home for gold and silver purchases, one of the largest distributors in all the United States. 2 Gator grads are running it, and you can reach them at 1-800-800-1865 or at moneymetals.com. Okay, number 1 on our moneymetals.com starting 5 is, of course, that it is March Madness. That's why we have this big graphic in the back here. It's March Madness. It's the time of year we all look forward to so much. To me, the greatest probably 10 days of my life were when I covered Florida in the 2000 in the national championship game, and obviously in Indianapolis, and covered it the game before, obviously the Saturday game. And I was at that moment when I went, oh my gosh, I've got to go to Augusta on Wednesday to cover the Masters. What a great life I have. I mean, it was unbelievable. So I didn't even have a flight. I got a flight, flew to Atlanta, drove over to Augusta. So that is part of the charm of March Madness to me, is that it leads into the Masters Week. The Masters Week literally starts the day of the national championship game. And that is really a cool part of it. And that's one reason I think it's my favorite time of the year. But the other reason is because you have so many games that you have a choice of watching. My 3 TVs may not survive this in my office and I'll have the laptop up on the 4th, because there are going to be moments where there are 4 games going on at the same time on 4 different channels. We'll give you all that info in a little bit, but I'm just excited to get things going. Well, we're going to finally find out who Florida's going to play, because tonight is the Lehigh versus Prairie View game. In fact, we were going to wait a day to do this because Ken Hesser is very good friends with the play-by-play guy for Lehigh, and if they won, we were going to get him on, but we'll be okay. So we'll know whether it's Lehigh. Lehigh's a 3.5-point underdog, by the way, or no, favorite. I'm sorry, against Prairie View. Neither one of these teams is any good. I don't know that I've gone into the NCAA tournament feeling more confident that Florida is going to get to the second weekend in my life, to be honest with you. Last year, I didn't feel that confident. UConn was the second game, and we know how that game almost went. So no, I wasn't. I do feel, and the reason I do is I look, Clemson's lost a player. He's out. Iowa's okay. They're not. Florida's better than both those teams, and that's why they're a 1 seed. They're going to either take care of business or it's going to be over. And I'm not going to let it. But look, they're not going to play like they did against Vanderbilt. Okay, and I know that there are a lot of people want to jump off the bandwagon. That's fine. I get it. I get where look. Nobody was happy with that game. The players weren't happy. The coaches weren't happy. The refs weren't happy. But don't flush it. That would be one of those games, the famous Charlie Pell took the game tape. I think it was when they lost in the Peach Bowl. Yeah. And buried it in on the practice field and just to forget about it. And that was a good moment. And sometimes you do that. I think if I was Todd Golden, I would watch the tape once and then I would light it on fire in front of the team and say, that game's over with. Now the season begins. And I don't want to say, now the real season starts. And I know I kind of caught myself saying that and stopped, because it's not. This team has done unbelievable stuff this year to win the SEC with 3 guys that go to the NBA. But this is the start of your defense. It doesn't start in game 1. It starts with a new NCAA tournament. Now you are defending the championship. All the crap that have been talked about, defending champs, I get so tired of that. Now they are the defending champions because they've been there, and a lot of people are going to like them. A lot of people are going to pick them to go well. We'll see. My bracket is done. I'm glad I finally got to it this morning and finished it up. And my policy on brackets, you can fill out as many as you want. Probably not going to win anything. I miss the old days when we would have paper brackets and like there'd be one at the newspaper and there'd be one with maybe some friends of yours, and you'd have these brackets and you would hope that they would win and you'd have a chance. Now I think everybody just goes on ESPN or CBS Sports and does a bracket and you'll get even if you have you think you did really good on your bracket, you'll get a memo that says, you are now in 197,000th place. That's good. You're in the top 10% then. So anyway, it's not, but I still fill one out. I want to make sure I did one. I do have Arizona winning the whole thing. If you're curious, I think they are going to win the whole thing. That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it. By the way, if you are planning to be in Tampa and want to go watch the Gators practice, 4:15 is the time for that. I know they're sending them off, and they're going to send them off there too, and all that. You can find all that stuff on FloridaGators.com. But if you're thinking about going to practice on Thursday, now I will say this: it's not a real practice. It's a shoot around basically. They're shooting around and doing stuff, and they may run through a couple of drills, but it's not like they're the practice they will have earlier in that day, or maybe later in the day, which will be an intense practice, closed practice. It'll be at a high school and stuff like that. And then in between, and this is the way it's always been in the NCAA tournament, the Saturday practice will not be open. So just so you know. And then they do kind of go hard on that one. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm just excited about it. I'm excited about the tournament getting ready to start. And it did start last night. So let's get to number 2 on our moneymetals.com starting 5. And that is, we already got a really good game. And that was the Texas winning last night in the battle of cheating coaches. I noticed nobody mentioned that on the air, that both these coaches got fired for cheating, Miller and Wade, 2 of my least favorite coaches. And but I did root for Texas. I said, it's one of 2 evils, I'm gonna go with the SEC. So the SEC is 1-0. Yay! Now we have the game. We have the games tonight. Certainly, there are 2 games. One of them's not that interesting. The other one is Miami of Ohio. We'll see what they got. That's number 3 on our moneymetals.com starting 5. Miami playing against SMU. Should be a home crowd. It's in Dayton. They're not far away. But is Miami now? A lot of you are going to watch Miami for the first time, probably, because this was the story of. That wasn't a story, I guess, is what the best way to put it. The story of why should Miami of Ohio get in or not? Because they lost that first game of their conference tournament. They played no quad 1 teams, and their schedule was very soft. They claim we tried to schedule teams, nobody wanted to play us. Okay. Now there's a big argument. Is it better not to say, oh, we don't need to play anybody because Miami got it? Yeah, if you go undefeated, yes. If you're 31-0, yeah. If you can do that and not play anybody, sure, you can probably still get in. I have watched enough Miami basketball this year that I already kind of know this team a little bit. I personally have, in watching them, and again, I've watched a lot of their games in the fourth quarter fourth part of the quarter of the game, because they were losing or close, and hey, I want to watch this. This team's undefeated. I don't think they're great, but you know what they do? They find ways to win for the most part. They didn't the last game, but they do, as a rule, find a way to win games. So I'm going to be interested in watching that game. That's the late game tonight, and then we'll know from the early game who the Gators are going to play. It'll be everybody wants to talk about Miami of Ohio's schedule, including Bruce Pearl. And again, look, the guy has just so many people want him off the air now. He's just he's a big phony, and we've known that for years. He's always been a big phony, and I don't like him. I mean, I don't think I hate him as much as Bomani Jones hates him, but I'm not a fan of his, and I don't know why he's got to keep opening his mouth. Well, they put him on TV to open his mouth. However, you can't be ripping a school and because you want your son to get in. It's just a Nepo baby thing. Anyway, I've already talked enough about that. Look, it's going to be hard for Miami Ohio to do something, but I remember the great Jimmy Duggan. Was it Duggan from League of Their Own, who had the great quote of all time to me: "The hard is what makes it great." And that is, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for Florida. It's going to be hard for Arizona, Houston, any of these teams. It's hard to win this tournament, and that's what makes it great. You know that last year, part of the love and joy you got out of that was that all the games were intense. After the first game, you didn't know if they were going to be able to make it, but they did every time. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, I do want to talk a little bit about softball. Of course, big series this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll give you the times and TV on that. But softball, of course, comes into this game 29-1. It is number 1, Tennessee, which did lose a game last week at Mississippi State, and number 5, Florida. So it's kind of a big deal, even though it's still not. Should be on regular TV for all 3 games, but it's not. But anyway, I'll get to that later. Ran into Steve and Christine Wendig from Boss Hart Realty last night. We saw them at Mother's, had a great time there. And we talked a lot about the softball coming up. They were excited about that, and excited about basketball too. And everybody wanted to know what I thought about Florida's chances. And this is I think Florida gets out of the first weekend and not the second. That's my take on it. That's my official position. And I hope I'm wrong some, but not wrong a little. I hope I'm right about the first weekend, and I hope I'm wrong about the second weekend, but we'll see what happens. But that's going to be exciting out in the softball stadium. That place is going to be packed. Number 1 versus number 5. We were supposed to have 1 versus 6 in lacrosse yesterday, and I don't know why it got postponed, but it got postponed. And they never gave a reason. Was it weather in North Carolina, maybe? But North Carolina's 1, Florida's number 6, I think. And but that game they haven't rescheduled it yet, but they will reschedule it. All right, let's get to number 5 on our moneymetals.com starting 5. And that is the Gator baseball got another win last night. They're now 19-3. Certainly kind of start you want to have. That High Point thing is still mystifying, but that's 2 of their losses out of 3 losses. Anyway, beat Stetson last night. They're 3-0 versus Stetson now. Now, Stetson has given Florida fits over the years. I don't think they're very good. In fact, I think they're pretty sure they're under 500 now. But Florida has beaten them by a combined 31-6. So that was good scheduling right there. Last night, Russell Sandifer got the start, his first start. 29 of his 35 pitches were strikes. That's the kind of pitching they need. And as Sully said, hey, look, he's going to make us make some tough decisions. And I think what he's talking about is our game 3 starter has been iffy right now, and he's got a chance to maybe be that. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be, but that was what Sully was basically saying. Florida, of course, Sully, by the way, now is an even 400 games over 500 in his Florida career. That's pretty good. Alabama, by the way, where they go play this weekend, got swept by Kentucky last week, and they lost to South Alabama on Tuesday night. They are 15-7. So, yes, this is not going to solve any of is Florida really good because their record's good? But they did lose to High Point when they beat Miami. And, you're still not sure about this Florida baseball team. That's what I feel. I'm still just don't know 100% whether this team is going to be an elite team or not. It might be. If Peterson and King can pitch good, they find a third pitcher, whether it's whoever it ends up being. It could be Sandifer, could be, and they've got a closer now, it seems like. So, it's kind of exciting. But you need to go on the road against a team that's probably not as good as you and find a way to take 2 out of 3 at least. Okay? That's my take. All right, that's going to do it for our moneymetals.com starting 5. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Jeff Darlington from ESPN. Talk to him about his time at Florida and also what he thinks about John Summerall. We'll get some NFL talk there. We'll talk about everything with Jeff, former intern at the Gainesville Sun, by the way, just for those of you who didn't know that. That's the way, well, it used to be the way to become, we had some unbelievable part-timers and interns during my career at the Gainesville Sun, guys like Ron Kaspritsky and Jeff Brown, and who went on, gosh, I'm blanking on her name. Sari Lynn. Deborah Sari Lynn. I blanked on her first name for a minute, who went on to be a sports editor. Just really good people. Anyway, those things don't happen anymore, of course. I don't think, is the Sun even open? Because I went by there the other night and it was all dark. I don't even know. Anyway, it's not my problem. All right, that's going to be it for our first segment. We'll come back with Jeff Darlington, play a little yes, no, where, maybe with him here on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Money Metals Exchange is a new sponsor for our starting 5 here on another Dooley Noted podcast, and we are so happy to have a group that is formed by 2 Florida grads. Mike and Stephen Gleason, they do a great job up there. If you're looking to buy or sell any gold or silver products, this is the place for you. And you can reach them at muddymetals.com. Also, phone number 1-800-800-1865. They are the place to go. They run the largest Class 3 precious metals depository west of New York. They've been voted the best online precious metals dealer in the United States by Investopedia. It's a bull market right now. Everybody needs to get in on the gold and silver markets, especially silver. So it's a great time to jump in. I looked at it yesterday. I was on the website for a while, and it was amazing how many different things they have. Coins and rounds and bars and just all kinds of special things. And I think you would have a great time just going in there and browsing. And look, the prices are right there. You know how much it is. Money Metals Exchange is the place to go. Again, Mike and Stephen Gleason do a great job. You can reach them at moneymetals.com or reach them at 1-800-800-1865.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. It is a great pleasure to bring on a longtime friend of mine who is now a member of the College Journalism Hall of Fame. yet another Hall of Fame that I can't get into, which is, my goal is not to make any. That's my goal.
Let's just relax on the Hall of Fame talk, okay? My name's not going up in a stadium or anything like that. Nice. I'm very proud of my journalism roots, but for the outside world, this is a nice thing, but not necessarily a relevant one, Dooley.
Well, but the thing is, it's still, when you're going through journalism school there, you're probably not thinking, one day I'm going to be here.
I'm thinking, how do I not fail out? Yeah. It is, by the way, revisionist history is quite funny, though. I remember when I got the University of Florida, like the whole college did a 40 under 40. They do a 40 under 40 each year, yeah. And they put me in this 40 and not, now I'm 44, but they put me in the 40 under 40 for UF. And you're looking at the names on this. It's like engineers and doctors, and I'm like, these guys didn't even. I got an acceptance letter and a denial letter. My GPA was not very high, so it's kind of funny that eventually I was named 40 under 40. Revisionist history would suggest I was a good student. As you know, Dooley. I
was not either.
You saw me a lot when I was in college, and it was not in any kind of lecture halls.
No, it wasn't. Hey, look, I got a 2.6 and was happy to get out with it.
That's right.
I know you're wearing a golf shirt there. I do want to talk about covering golf. I know we'll talk a little NFL. We'll talk certainly about your how you became a Hall of Famer working at ESPN. And but let's go back to the Scotty Scheffler thing. That is
Scotty, by the way.
Is it?
That's the Scotty logo when he got Player of the Year.
Okay.
Last year, the PGA Tour sent me one of the T-shirts and was like, if anybody needs this shirt, it's you. So I randomly had it on today, so
that's pretty cool. That was an unbelievable moment, though. And you're sitting there, and I'm like, look at Jeff. It's amazing that you were there at that same time.
Yeah, I was showing up to the course at, we go on air. I think I can't remember. I think we go on air at 8 a.m. from there, or I guess it would have been 8 Eastern, whatever it was. you're showing up at 6 a.m. local to just, get a jump start on the day and
Right.
make sure you're ready and in place. And Scotty was very early that day too. I mean, he was one of the first guys to the course. So he was sort of the one who had to deal with the mess that was occurring due to the very tragic accident down the street.
Yeah.
So there weren't any other players. Had he been a little lazier, he would not have been the guy. But we were all kind of sitting there like, well, there's the entrance. The accident was way down there. Like, we just want to get in that entrance, and that's kind of how it started. And
It was wild.
yeah,
Next thing you know, he's in cuffs.
I'll never. It will never. It is like seared into my eyeballs. The looking at Scotty Scheffler in handcuffs in rain, being like dragged away by police. It is like an image that, it takes being seared into my eyeballs to believe, because
Yeah.
at the time I'm just sitting here, what is happening? It's like it was just a weird dream.
Yeah, and I think it was for everybody,
Yeah.
And at one point you're thinking, boy, we didn't have video of Tiger when
Right.
his wife went after him with the golf club. We don't have video of that. So
Yeah, that was, like I actually had the luxury. I've talked to a lot of people about this since, because there's so many people who are waking up like, what?
yes.
But and didn't believe it. Like, I at least had the luxury of seeing it to believe it.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of a funny thing. I've actually been like, it's weird. It's fun to hear people tell me where they were, or like how they found out about that he had gotten arrested, because I never had that experience of like waking up and seeing that Scotty Scheffler was arrested, which I know sounds stupid, but like it was not a surprise to me.
No,
I just remember,
know what you mean,
I remember standing on the side of the road about to hit send on the tweet, the post. And I asked my boss, I was like, can I post this? Like, how do we want to, because when I hit this, when I hit send, this is, everything changes.
Yeah.
Do you need me on air first? Like, how do you want to do this? He's like, just post it. And I'm like sitting there with my finger on it, like, this is gonna, just like, boop, and then just, and it was, and it was at 6 a.m. So people were waking up to it too. It wasn't as if, shoot, on the West Coast, friends in LA literally are waking up 2 hours after it happened, thinking it happened in the middle of the night. A lot of my buddies were like, what did you do with Scotty last night that you guys were,
you got blamed for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got blamed.
Hey, I did want to talk to you about though, because I'll never forget, of course I'm taking full credit for your Hall of Fame induction, because you interned with us, at the Gainesville Sun, and
that's right.
I mentored you.
Of course.
I like to tell people that, even though I didn't. But
I mean, you were there for me all the time, Dooley.
Yeah. But I mean, one of the things you did that you started doing down in South Florida was a TV thing, where it was like you did your own TV show, and we saw it, and we said, we need to do this with me. So it's kind of where the podcast and whole thing got started for us.
Oh, that's
but
funny.
For you, I mean, it was really a cool thing, and you had a pretty good grasp on what to do in terms of television.
Yeah, it was early too. It's funny, going back again, the where I really kind of learned the idea of, and I know like if young people are listening to this, they're like, this doesn't make sense. Like, but this was not a thing at the time. Like blogs weren't even a thing. Social media wasn't a thing. But where I had kind of learned it, I was at journalism school, which was a full circle moment when I was back talking to at this symposium for the Ring of Honor and all that stuff. I was speaking at the symposium a couple weeks ago. I attended a symposium 20 years ago, and it was Sal Palantonio, who's now a coworker, Bob Ryan, formerly of the Boston Globe, and John Marvel, the ESPN.com editor at the time. And it was all about convergence of journalism and how you've got to be more than just a writer. And I literally walked out of that like, okay, what do we do? And started to kind of figure out ways to do some forms of video. And it was, I'd go around the locker room with this weird camera I had and get video of it, and then go to my laptop and try to edit it into this like little compact kind of segment. But that was sort of how that started, which sounds ridiculous when I say that. Like any young person's like, yeah, no, I do that with my phone
Yeah,
every
we
day.
do that all the time. We have GarageBand too,
Yeah, right.
we can do it. But yeah, no, I mean it's really good that you were able to get that, and that you grasp what a lot of people did not get, which was you can't just be a writer. You can't just write about the games. You've got to figure out something different. And I think that those are the survivors, and the ones who didn't kind of got left behind.
Yeah, it's funny because that makes it sound like too. I was not any kind of like. For me, all of that stuff was still an extension of journalism, of trying to like tell the story. It wasn't like I was trying to be some kind of influencer, like I cared about myself being on camera, anything like that. It was more like, how can we find other ways to like share and like disseminate this story that we're trying to tell, which I kind of wish, Dooley, that people would do more now, where it's more about
Yeah,
the story than it is about the, you know.
Yeah. I used to even do periscopes at halftime.
That's right. Remember periscopes? That's so
Yeah.
funny.
I don't even know if I even have that app on my phone anymore.
No, I don't even think it exists anymore.
That kind of went away. Just
Yeah.
think about if you had bought Zoom stock the day before COVID hit.
Right. You know, I speak to the journalism, Ted Spiker, who is
Yeah,
the dean
I
of the
know.
school, but at the time was a professor when I was there. I have spoken to his class every single semester since I graduated. So we were joking about this. The funny thing about it is, like, we would use, like, going back to think of how we used to try to get me on camera to speak to the class. Like, now we just hop on Zoom, or like what we're doing right now. It would be like, you know, Skype or anything. It was so hard to actually like find a way. You
I know. People
But,
say, do you know how to do Skype? I go, I don't know if I do or not. I don't
Yeah,
I
right.
haven't figured it out.
Wow.
Let's talk about it is March Madness, and I know
Yeah.
that you're excited about that. Your school is a 1 seed. My school is a 1 seed too. They're both the same school, of course.
I was gonna say, wait a second.
Yeah, we both went to Florida, but it's exciting. It's fun when it's coming up, and it's you've got a vested interest. It's one thing if like everybody loves March Madness, but when you have a team in
It's so much better.
skin in the game, yeah.
I'll be honest too. I'm not a great fan. I'm not a great. You know, in all kinds of weather, we all stick together. Listen, I care deeply about my alma mater, but when they're falling off and they're not overly relevant, I am not great at staying on the boat.
No,
I am
you're not
so
alone.
fair weather. It's not that I don't have a deep love for my school. It's just that I'm not paying attention as much. Which, by the way, we'll talk about this. But I went over to the football office and got to spend time with Summerall and I know Dave Caldwell. We'll jump on football after this. But basketball, no, it's fun too. I mean, I had a really good time last year because at Augusta I was covering the Masters as I got there the day of the national championship, and there is this really cool synergy and group that's up at Augusta. Several members of the board of directors, University of Florida, that are all kind of up there and embedded within the golf club. So there's it's pretty cool, the deep love. In fact, I asked Chairman Fred Ridley in a press conference about the Gators winning the national championship, and there's all these Bulldogs up there that, you know, you're in the South, and the rumor was that I asked it, and someone outside the press conference, there was a couple of Augusta members out there, and they say, "You hear this son of a bitch asking the chairman about the Gators?" Because Fred Ridley is a Gator on the board, but
Actually building a golf course out here now.
That's right. Yeah. And I got the Gator. I have a Gator Augusta tie now.
Nice.
So it's a really cool group. And so when the basketball team was winning, you could feel the love up there. Hard left turn there, but no, I mean, they get hot. They're getting hot at the right time, you know?
Yeah.
That's the key. Like
it is. And last year, I mean, I remember going to the SEC tournament as they were getting ready to play in that and thinking, you guys need to lose and get out and rest.
Isn't that wild?
They win every other game. And I'm like, hey, you know, so you just never know. And you know how it is with the tournament. It's so much fun to watch because it's none of it's scripted. This isn't Real Housewives of Dale Plantation. You know, it's what it is. But
Yeah.
let's shift over to football, because I know that I do want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the NFL. But you got to meet with John Summerall, and I'm sure you're as impressed with him as everybody. Everybody loves the guy right now. Again, he's
Totally, totally. I told him too, and I was, I mean, this dude is just energy, man. He
Yeah.
is, he feels big, like you feel his passion. Again, I'm with you. Like, you don't know how that translates to wins and losses, but you do know to a capacity how that translates to recruiting. I mean, just that human element. Like, this is a dude you want to kind of run through a wall for, and you could feel that. When we were up in the office, I was actually saying to him, I'm like, I don't know how this goes over in these offices anymore, which, by the way, are beautiful now.
Oh, yeah.
But he reminds me of when Urban first got to Florida. And I'm not, take away everything that happened and, where Urban went from there. But when Urban first got there, he was coming from Utah, as you remember, Dooley. And everybody was kind of like, yeah, I mean, he won at Utah, but can he win here? And it was like, no, dude, that's just a winner. Like, you could
Yeah.
feel that presence when Urban walked in the building, that he was a winner, that he had energy. And Coach Summerall actually said one of the calls that kind of was his final call before really making the decision, because Auburn was on the table as well,
Right.
was from Urban, and he actually played a pretty big role, which makes me happy too that Urban is kind of, time has healed a little bit and brought him back into the fold. I think he belongs in the legacy of the University of Florida for what he did. And I think that it's cool that, again, who knows where this goes, but you can feel that renewed culture, that renewed energy that's coming from Summerall. And by the way, do you know Dave Caldwell at all?
Yeah, yeah. I talked
Did
to
you
him a
know
long
him?
time out over when he was there. And of course, he was in Jacksonville. And so all the guys that I talked to in Jacksonville about him,
Yeah,
Duraco, guys like that, they
right.
were like, you're going to love this guy. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Duraco, Mark Long, they all covered him in Jax. I knew him very well in Jacksonville, and and as he was making that entry to UF, I'm sitting there saying, no, this is perfect. Like, this is a guy that you need this role, you need this general manager role, which they probably should have hired him last year, but Summerall coming in and sort of say, no, this is what we need. I think
yeah.
they don't even know each other, but we were joking. Caldwell's a very even-keeled guy, and he came out of his office, and again, awesome dude, just a great, fun-loving, low ego, calm demeanor. And he comes out, and I'm talking to Summerall, and I look at Dave. I'm like, you're going to need to drink more coffee if you're going to keep up with Summerall. But Summerall, like, on a serious note, joked that no, it's like a perfect yin and yang. Like, Dave's job is to sort of keep things sort of on the tracks. When Summerall's running around the building doing his high energy thing, you've got Dave in there saying, all right, we're going to get this. We're going to treat this like an NFL salary cap. We're going to organize this in a way that we're going to best benefit, from resource standpoint, from NIL, all those types of things, from scouting, and allow Summerall to do what he does best. So I really think that synergy there is going to, and by the way, there's no other college teams have guys like Andrew Luck at Stanford. You've got guys that are coming into these GM roles, but nobody has a former NFL GM doing this. And I think that is going to be very valuable for what feels to me like a college program that is becoming much more like the NFL, with salary caps and all those types of things with it.
Yeah, that's going to be the obviously the big thing for everybody is, what do we get to a point where you get a salary cap? I think everybody wants it, but I mean, the president wants to sign an executive order. That's not going to work. That's not going to happen. You got to figure. I don't know. It's the problem with college football is, in the NFL, everybody is trying to make the NFL better.
Right.
College football, people only care about their school and their conference. and
I
everybody
agree.
else can go to hell, you know?
Well, when you have that salary cap, it causes certain spending restrictions and just creativity. But I will say that there is there is sort of a salary. It's not a salary cap that's mandated, but there, and I get it. It's an arms race with a lot of these schools, but a place like the University of Florida, it's how can you take the NIL money that you're getting in, or whatever money you're getting that's going toward the football program, and best spend it. So in some ways there is sort of this salary cap that you're given as Dave Caldwell. You're basically being told this is the money we have to spend, and it's your job to spend it as efficiently as possible.
Yeah,
So
you got to know what you're doing. You got to do
and
it
that's
right.
where that comes into play. It's it's like giving a credit card to a kid compared to giving a credit card to an adult who's been through it and understands that you eventually have to pay that back. Like when you have a former NFL GM who understands, listen, if I spend X on my quarterback, if I'm spending $65 million a year, I'm paying the price over here. So if we can build the trenches and get maybe a slightly lesser expensive quarterback, that's where we benefit. And I think that that's where someone like Dave Caldwell, and that's an oversimplified explanation.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
That's where that kind of, I mean, he will pay for his salary in weight in gold just based on doing things like that. I think that it's a huge economic benefit for the school. I think it allows Summerall to do what he's got to do. And that synergy between those two, I think it's going to really pay dividends for the football side of things.
Yeah, we hope so, because we're tired of it.
Same, I mean,
hey, look, I'm tired of coming home to a bunch of people that are really pissed off. It feels like it's been, years of doing that. Everybody's mad.
And listen, I'm sure, like, I was kind of like on that Lane Kiffin. I don't know where you were on it, but I was kind of like,
I was there.
Let's go. And it was very funny, like you felt the transition of people being like, damn it, we didn't get Lane, to maybe we didn't want Lane, to, but who's this Summerall guy, to, oh, this guy's got some juice. Like, it was this very funny, I think we all went through it together. And I got to be honest, like, I respect Lane. I hope he's okay with me sharing this, but I talked to Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Eagles, best GM in the NFL, who, by the way, worked above Dave Caldwell and was somewhat instrumental in endorsing Dave to get that job. But I was talking to Howie on the sideline about what Florida should do, and he had made some of those opinions known. But his whole thing was, and it was not hating on Lane, it was the idea of like, make sure that whoever you get as a coach is going to create a culture that is about the University of Florida, not about the coach himself. Where, again, I don't want that to come across as a shot at Lane, but Lane Kiffin is a brand in itself.
We know what Lane is.
You know what it is. That is a brand in it of itself.
Yeah.
Whereas a guy like Summerall is going to create this culture that is about, the University of Florida. And that's what Howie was saying, essentially, like, that's who you need to hire, someone like that. And ultimately, I think they did that. And I think it's headed to a good place.
I hope so. Jeff Darlington from ESPN coming to you on our Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line. And it is time for us to play the game we always do with great guests like Jeff. And that is yes, no way, or maybe. 3 questions brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks, street dining done the right way. If you go in there and say, hey, I heard Jeff Darlington on Dooley's podcast, you get free fries with your order.
Sweet.
So, here are the 3 questions, and we'll go. Next time you're in town, we'll go to Big Mills and get one of those cheesesteaks. Although you're so skinny, I don't know if you could eat that.
Dude, no, we got a bit of a skinny fat guy thing going on.
All right, here we go. Yes, no, where, maybe. Number 1, you have filled out a bracket and have Florida winning it all.
Does not yet count? Yes, I will say yes. I have not.
I just did mine this morning. I got to be honest with you.
I'm about to do it. What's the deadline? What do we got? Till tomorrow, right?
Yeah, you got till tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Yeah.
So whenever this airs, rewind. Yes, Florida winning it all. Both my heart and my brain says Florida wins it all.
I hope you're right. That's all I can say. I will be honest with you. I don't have Florida winning it all. I've got them getting knocked off by Houston, but
All right,
in
well,
Houston,
haters
which
gonna hate. It's fine,
I
Dooley.
know. Hey,
You
well,
You hate the Gators. I sound
you
like
know what my thing is? Robbie and I talked about this the other day about how sometimes we get worried about a game the Gators are playing. Like they'll be playing at Kentucky or something, and we'll be all freaking out about it. And we go, it's because our whole lives growing up as kids, Florida never had anything nice.
Oh yeah.
They were never
Totally.
good enough in football. They were never in the NCAA tournament in basketball. So we expect things to go bad. And when they go bad, we're not surprised.
That's
We
right.
need
By
to
the way,
get
tell Robbie I said hello. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
I will. Robbie's loving life. He usually does this segment on Mondays. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Robbie's
and
always loving life.
Robbie's a good man. All right, that's number one. Number two on yes, no way, or maybe. The Dolphins are in the rebuilding, not the reloading stage right now.
Yes. A historic rebuild. Never before have we had a rebuild like this. And anybody who wants to say otherwise just needs to look at they are spending $150 million of their salary cap on players who will not be on the roster in 2026. It is the most. It is not even a rebuild. It is like they're sitting on an empty lot for a year before they rebuild. So yeah, big time rebuild.
Last one out of the building, turn the light off, or
yeah, that's right.
Well, it is amazing. I mean, the Waddle trade was, it's like, okay, well, who's going to play wide receiver for them? I don't.
Yeah. I get it. They're making no qualms about what they're doing. The only thing that's hard to explain is why you're going to pay Malik Willis decent money when you could just, roll Quinn Ewers out there. But at that
point,
like
his outfit that he showed up with for his first press conference.
Yeah. Listen, I will say if Malik does play well, it's a trial period. It's albeit a well compensated tryout for Malik Willis. Let's put it that way.
We'll see how it goes. All right. Finally, on yes, no way, or maybe, you had some green beer yesterday.
No. And I don't know when life got in the way of St. Patrick's Day, but man, like I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything to say. I mean, I'm very Irish, by the way, like 99% Irish, and I don't know what happened, but no green beer. That is a surprise. I told you, I was like, let's do Wednesday unless we have a big St. Patrick's Day, which used to happen, but I had to take a pass this year. So next year I'll have to drink double.
We were home by 8:00, but we did do the happy hour. Went to Munnigan's, which used to be the what was the name of the Cypress Lounge that was like considered. And Tom Petty wrote a song called "Spike" about it. The guy
Where
with
is it?
collar on. It's over here on 13th.
Gosh, did I ever go to Cypress Lounge?
I doubt, and very few people bother going.
I used to hit the little locals, the little dives once in a while.
We went there, and then we went to Mother's, and then we enjoyed ourselves.
It doesn't matter what time you get home. You go ugly early. It's fine.
And that's what we did. We were in bed at 9 on New Year's Eve.
That's exactly right. Gainesville, by the way, was great. It was really nice to be back. It was. Everybody told me everything is so different. I thought the bones of Gainesville remain the same.
Yeah, they do. But I think the biggest difference is I call it Chainsville now, because a lot of local places are going belly up and
they're turning into chain. Yeah, I get that. I stayed pretty much right on campus. That AC hotel, right? Was it AC, right?
Yeah,
AC?
yeah. It's really nice there.
That's great. Can't even imagine having a Publix where it is now if I was in college. Like, that's ridiculous. The new swamp.
You were in college so many years ago.
Yeah, it is so sad that the swamp is not there. The new one, I respect it. If you convince yourself you're at the old one, you can. But
they're a big sponsor here, so be careful what you say about them.
No, I truly. First of all, I honestly went to Cantina after swamp when I was there.
My daughter works there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's fun. I was there, and I felt like I was on like burial grounds. Like I felt weird,
Indian
looking around,
burial.
I was looking around all these people like, you people don't even know where you are
Yeah.
right now,
You have
But
no clue.
no, I did think that, and a lot of my friends have told me, the swamp is in a different place and all that. I was sitting at the bar inside, and the longer I was there, like I'm looking around, I'm like, this does feel like the way the pillars are, like it does feel like the old swamp. So I give
Well,
them a
that
lot
was
of
his
credit.
goal, was to build an exact replica.
It's there, and it's a little more spaced out. It's wonderful. It's not the same place, but the integrity of the bar did feel similar.
Yeah, it's a great place, and we have a great time. And you've been a great guest, so we know you would be, and we'll get you on maybe when we get closer to the NFL season again.
Sounds good, man. Anytime.
I
Appreciate it,
appreciate you
Dooley.
coming on board. I mean, you're a Hall of Famer, and it's been it's been
let's relax.
documented.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that. I shaped your career. I shaped Bianchi's career because I hired him. He's in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of people I work with them, and I don't want to be in the Hall of Fame.
You did your best to try to derail our careers with fun golf tournaments and
Yeah, there was a little bit of that too.
yeah. So I feel like we succeeded in spite of your efforts, Dooley.
Well,
I appreciate all you've done for me, Dooley. That's not true at all.
hey, look, we have a good time, and you know my friend Sarah Cardona. You got to
Yes.
see her at one of those things, and we worked together for a long time.
That's right. Yep, totally.
She's doing great. Yeah.
You're a legend, brother.
Nah, I'm nothing. I'm legendarily bad. All right.
Tough.
We'll let you
All
go.
right, brother.
We'll be back with more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios right after this break.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
All right, it may be a new year, but it doesn't mean you have to back off any of your goals as far as losing weight. I know I've been working even harder on it, and of course I get an assist from BMI TeleMed. They help us out with our New Year's resolutions, even if I've already broken 2 of them. Not the food ones, though. Weight loss is your goal. Get with BMI TeleMed. They use GLP-1 medications, and they are individualized. And that's the great thing. I've been through this, and Charlie, just talking to him, it was so great to make him understand, and he understood what I was doing. It's not about just losing weight. It is about keeping it off. You know that. We're all excited about the new year, and we're going to lose weight. But when you lose it in the first month, then you got to keep going. BMI TeleMed is sensible. It's straightforward. It's affordable. No contracts or hidden costs. BMI TeleMed is donating $1 for every pound you lose to the Florida Victorious Foundation. So go Gators. Join the listeners on this podcast who've already lost over 600 pounds. Are you kidding me? I'm 60 of them right there. All right. Contact BMI TeleMed today at 727-383-1677.
Coach, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
the first time ever in a public setting outside the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York City, 3 legends are coming to Gainesville. Join Steve Spurrier, Daniel Werfel, and Tim Tebow together with their Heisman trophies for the Legends Gala at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill on Monday, March 30th. Enjoy an unforgettable night of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Gator history.
Okay, welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging. Want to remind you that we're running out of time to get these tickets for the Florida Legends. The 3 statues come to life. You get to see all 3 of them. Their first time in the same place other than at the Heisman Trust. You can buy the tickets to be there and catch a pass from Danny, Timmy, Coach, or you could do both and go to the party at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where they're going to have separate rooms for each former player, and then you'll be able to go in there and talk to them and hang out with them. It sounds like it's going to be unbelievable. I can't wait to see what happens. 3 Heismans, 2 events, 1 day. So you can buy your tickets at FLLegends.com. is a place to go. All right, let's start off our third segment with our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Hesser and Kipke, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipke is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. Okay, we'll start out with number 1, which is that I know that a lot of you were on pins and needles about this, but the WNBA and their union have come to a verbal agreement. So only 51 days before they start. Look, I like watching women's basketball. I like women's sports a lot. I support women's sports. But, I mean, WNBA doesn't do much for me. College basketball does. I'll watch the women's tournament. Yeah, I don't fill out a bracket for it. WNBA, but I also understand when you feel like you're not getting a fair shake. This is what collective bargaining is. And this is what we need in college sports, unfortunately. I don't like that we need it, but we need it. But they're going to start as usual. And look, they're doing great. And I think that's why the players really want more money, is because they're breaking all these attendance records. I don't think the viewership's really going to make a lot of money, but ESPN's kind of gone all in on it. Anyway, the WNBA and their union have come to an agreement. Let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and that is, we are not the champions, my friends, and that is the United States in baseball. Venezuela won the final 3-2. Bats went south, other than Bryce Harper hitting a homer, who hadn't done much in the. Again, did I watch it? No. But I have to ask you this question. If the Dodgers win the World Series again this year, like they probably will, are they the world champions? I don't think so. The world champion is Venezuela. That's the world champion. It was the world championship, right? The team that wins the World Series can't say they're world champions. They will, but they can't. And finally, number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. I did watch a little bit of the golf last night, not a whole lot. The TGL is okay, and again, with Billy Horschel being part of it, I do pay attention to it. However, it still feels like pretend golf, kind of like the Live Tour. But I did watch a little bit of it, and a lot of it was because I'm curious if Tiger is going to be interviewed. Well, Tiger was interviewed and basically said, look, it's tough to come back from disc replacement. And I'm like, I may be finding that out soon. I don't want to, but if it's tough for Tiger, one of the greatest athletes of all time, and I say greatest athletes, not just greatest golfers, because, I mean, when you are built like Tiger and you put the weight training in and you hit the ball further than any person could for a long time, now can't, you're a great athlete. You cannot be a great athlete without being a great athlete. Okay, anyway, my point is, he says he has good days and bad days, and that doesn't sound like a guy who's ready to play at Augusta. A lot of hills, a lot of climbing, and he's coming off the Achilles surgery too. I hope he plays. I hope he's in contention. It will make us riveted to the TV, but I don't think, and the guy's 50 years old now. I mean, he's almost at the age where they're going to say, Tiger, we don't want to send you a letter, but if you shoot another 82, we're going to have to send you a letter. And that's where a lot of remember, that was a big controversy where people were getting letters saying, we're not invited back because you can't play anymore. But I mean, the rule is you win the Masters, you can play it for the rest of your life. But now they put an end to that a few years ago, several years ago. Anyway, you get my point. All right, let us move along. That is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. And appreciate Ken Hesser, who was going to hook us up with the Lehigh play-by-play guy, but we decided to do the show a day early. And sorry about that. Let's get to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week, brought to you by our friends at Gallo Car Wash. Well, we get all of our cars washed, and boy, we need them. The pollen is going crazy in Gainesville, FLA. Our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week is Aiden Holloway. Boy, way to soak up a lot of the attention from March Madness. Way to make everybody who is a big Alabama fan think, well, we're done. We're not going anywhere. And I think Alabama was going to be a sexy pick for a lot of people to go very deep. But it doesn't look like he's going to play. Things could change by the time this comes out. But for those of you who don't know, they found 2 pounds of marijuana in his room. And most of you might be saying, I thought marijuana was legal. It is legal, but it's not legal to sell marijuana without being a licensed dealer. There's something that has to do with stamps out there in Alabama. You have to pay for these stamps and everything. He's trying to basically go around it and sell it. I'm assuming nobody has 2 pounds to smoke, I wouldn't think. But anyway, he's off campus. He's suspended. I can't see him coming back. Boy, he soaked up a lot of attention. One day, everybody was complaining about Auburn in the state of Alabama not getting in. The next day, they didn't care. All they cared about was caring about Alabama. All right, so that is our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week, Aiden Holloway. So he's got that going for him. All right, our BMI TeleMed Smart Move of the Week is brought to you by our good friends at BMI TeleMed. Work for me, it can work for you. Give them a call at 727-383-1677. Achieve and maintain with your weight loss specialist at BMI TeleMed, and you get a discount if you mention you heard it here on the podcast. All right, let's go to our Smart Move of the Week, and that is, I'm giving credit to my man Chris Harry, because Chris Harry did the story yesterday, the kind of story that I used to do when I worked for the Gainesville Sun, which was to write about all the times Florida's played in the state of Florida in the NCAA tournament, which was a good idea. I love those kind of stories, listicles we call them. And what we kind of know, but that Florida has gone 11-2 all time. The 2 losses were not good ones. The 95 one came the year, because I remember that so well. 95 was the year after they go to the Final Four, and they were barely going to get in the. I remember they beat, for some reason, I remember them beating FSU, and that kind of clinched that they were going to get in. But they squeaked in. I remember being at a St. John's Community College basketball game, kind of following the scores back when every game was on TV. But anyway, that was a bad loss. Fred Hoiberg was their best player at Iowa State. And then the Michigan State loss, which everybody who knew anything about basketball kind of saw coming, because Anthony Roberson had been recruited heavily by Michigan State. Florida's kind of stole him away at the last minute. He was a freshman. He just wasn't ready for that moment. And I think he went 0 for 8 or 0 for 9. And I remember sometimes you remember leads forever. And that the lead on my column that day was, with 1:42 to play, Christian Dreyer made 2 free throws, and it was official. Florida was on a run. It was the first time in the game they had scored back-to-back possessions in the entire game. They got destroyed by a pretty good Michigan State team, and that was the only 2 times that they've lost. They're 11-2 in the state, and certainly some of the great wins have come there. I think they've only started 1 national championship run in the state of Florida, though, and that was when they played in Jacksonville in 06. 07, they started in New Orleans, and then, of course, last year was Raleigh. So, but anyway, I give him credit. So he's our BMI TeleMed Smart Move of the Week. Those are the kind of stories I love to read. All right, let us move along to this, that, and the other.
What do you want? This, that, and the other.
Okay, this, that, and the other, of course, is brought to you by our friend Notary Joe. Notary Joe will get you taken care of if you need notary work, and he'll come right to your house. He's a mobile notary. 863-990-4884. The number to call him, notaryjoe80@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of him, it is brought to you by Dar Shakow Insurance. For all your home, auto, and commercial and life needs, Dar Shakow Insurance gets it done for you. And by the Atlanta Hustle, the Southeast #1 Frisbee team. Make sure you get their schedule. It's out there online. You can get it if you want to check out some ultimate Frisbee. All right. This, that, and the other. #1. No, it's not #1. It's this. I wrote it down as 1, but it's not. This is, when this season started, I remember my whole mindset was, I think they're going to be pretty good. But the main thing is, just make sure you make the tournament, guys. You know, you don't want to go, and because 07 to 08, we saw what happened. 07, national champs. 08, get off to a great start. I think they were 21-3 at one point. Didn't make the tournament. And it lost a bunch of games down the stretch. You're a very young team. Then they got back eventually to get there. So make the tournament. You know, hopefully you get a decent seed. We can, the tournament is so much better when your team is in it, when you have skin in the game. Now, I'm not talking about Kentucky skin. Like, I've got Kentucky skin in the game. That is, I am really looking forward, if I get a chance to do it, to buying a Santa Clara t-shirt. Yes, it will be bought. You know that. I will wear it, actually, on the next Thursday show, if they do that. Anyway, it's so much better. Anyway, so I just wanted Florida to make the turn. That's where I was. Again, I talked about this before, just need to get a more positive attitude. Okay, so when that is that it's going pretty good, and they're going to be, looks like they're in, and then you're getting a little nervous, and then all of a sudden they go on this run, and they go on that run, and I'm like, oh my, now I want a 1 seed. And I overanalyze and everything, which gets us to the other, which is, I will sit here today and just say, I am proud of this team no matter what happens. And I appreciate what this team has done. Coming off a national title is not an easy thing. You've seen the documentary with Joakim Noah, was just breaking out and everything. He had so much pressure on him, and the players they lost their joy. And this team was able to capture that. They were able to get that joy going. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of Xavier Lee look, the guy makes some plays that I just get mad at, like everybody does. Shut off his Twitter, started watching movies, didn't want to go on any more social media, focused on basketball, became a much better player. I think he's done a great job. Boogie Flan, same thing. Was being criticized, even though he came here not being a great shooter, and he's shooting a lot better. But all these guys on this team, all the guys who did come back, the Condons, the Hawks, everybody that came back, Chinyalu, I'm proud of all of them. I'm proud of Olivier Roys of the world. I mean, that don't get to play very much. I'm just proud of this team and what they've been able to do. This coaching staff, proud of this, the trainers, proud of everybody. Well done, guys. And I'm not, look, if you go out and lose to Prairie View or Lehigh, whatever it is, yeah, am I going to be critical? Sure. That's my job. It's not really a job. It's just what I do. But I still will remember this season fondly, and that's the way I am. That's where I am right now. Okay, maybe I'm getting a more positive attitude. That is our this, that, and the other. Appreciate all of our great sponsors there. Let us move along to our Los Linderos Smooth Move of the Week. It is brought to you by Los Linderos Tequila. Go beyond with Los Linderos. My favorite tequila and Urban Meyer's favorite tequila. It almost came out last night. It came close, I can tell you that. All right, our smooth move of the week is the Florida golf team. Now, they're playing later today, and by the time you're listening to this, it may be over. But yesterday, I saw that they were over par. That's Florida golf in this tournament out in California. Puma. I don't know if it's pronounced Puma or Pauma, but anyway. It's a tournament out in California, and they were way back, and that's surprising. What'd they do yesterday? A little 10 under. 10 under will get you back in a tournament. Yeah. All of them played really well. Jack Turner leading the way with the 65. Well done, Jack. And they're still back at Tennessee, but the final rounds today, we'll let you know on Monday how they did on it. And but that was smooth to go out there and shoot 10 under. That's not easy, obviously, because nobody else did it. All right. Let us move along to that is our Los Linderos Smooth Move of the Week. Our Gator of the Week brought to you by Adams Ribco. Our Adams Ribco Gator of the Week. We always look forward to it. And we always look forward to getting some ribs at Adams. I think today may be a good day for it. Or wait till Friday and get Nana's nuggets. Whatever you want to do, Adams is the place to go. All right, we are our Gator of the Week. He's won a few of these, and invitations open again. But it's Thomas Houck. Now, Thomas Houck was named third team All-American yesterday. Some people may say, third team, I thought he was better. I thought he did better. Look, I got to give you the guys who were the first teamers, okay? Acuff, who was the SEC Player of the Year, okay? Yeah, he's unbelievable. Cameron Boozer, Duke, pretty good. Probably going to be the National Player of the Year. Debatte, the kid from BYU, who's done unbelievable things this year. Toppin, even though he's out for the year with an injury. And Linda Moore from Michigan, who's been great and just makes all these big shots. Anyway, that was so you can't say, well, I guess you could have taken Toppin off, but then you look at the second team guys, and they're all unbelievable. Actually, the one kid from North Carolina, I'm blanking on his name, Caleb. Caleb Wilson. Missed so many games with broke one hand and broke the other. So, but are you gonna take him off that list? So look, it's really hard to be first team All-American in basketball. You've got 365 teams and 5 spots. So, I mean, it's hard. So making third team, he is our Gator of the Week, and we appreciate Tommy all year. He's been unbelievable. Had some moments where he wasn't great. Who doesn't have those? Even I have those on this podcast. All right, so that is our Gator of the Week. Let's get to our Leonardo's and Millhopper quick picks. And we got 2 for you today. You can qualify with either one. And somebody's going to win pretty soon. We're going to make another draw pretty soon. Leonardo's $25 gift certificate, which is certainly good enough to get a couple of Duels sandwiches and maybe a cold beverage. Appreciate Leo's, appreciate Kyle Cohen over there. So here's the 2 things we're going to give you. All right. How many games does Florida win against Tennessee in softball this weekend? 3-game series. I don't think there's any rain coming, but 3-game series. So your answer is either 0, 1, 2, or 3. Okay. That's not too hard. And then the second one is, how many teams from the state of Florida are alive on Monday? Think about it. You got 4 teams, Florida, UCF, USF, Miami. How many are alive on Monday? So that means they will have won 2 games. Okay. Again, that answer can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is pretty simple, but it's still complicated. You have to think about it. Just send your answers to patrickdooley54@gmail.com. And that's where you can reach me for anything. I appreciate Leonardo's. Let us wrap it up with our swamp. We were mentioning the swamp earlier with Jeff Darlington, the swamp games of the weekend. And of course, the swamp is the place to go to watch all these games. It should be really nice out. And I think it's going to warm up a little bit by the time we get to March Madness, the actual March Madness, which really starts Thursday. You know that. But I'm excited about it. I know we'll be over there probably maybe on Friday, to watch some of those games. And I'm not going to give you every game. If I sat here and gave you every game, we would be here for another 2 hours. And that's the greatness of it. I'm just going to give you some highlights, but let's start with baseball. Baseball, of course, plays at Alabama, 7 o'clock on Friday, 3 o'clock on Saturday. Both those games are on SEC Plus. You have to have the Plus to get them. And then 1 o'clock on Sunday is on the SEC Network. So you can watch that on the SEC Network. The other 2 are on the Plus. Softball, huge series, right? But you have to have the Plus to watch them or go to the game, which is even better. 6 o'clock on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday. 6 o'clock on Friday, 1 o'clock on Saturday. Both those are on ESPN Plus. And then 12 o'clock on Sunday on ESPN2. I'm making strides there. They'll be on the Ocho next. So those are the baseball and softball. Basketball-wise, Florida, I gave you guys, I think, a wrong time on Monday. And the reason was somebody else put it out there as it was a day game. It's a night game, obviously, 9:25. I think everybody's figured it out by now that I'm an idiot, but Twitter can be dangerous, I can tell you that. It's on TNT, if you're wondering. Now, there are games all over the place, and I'll just tell you, from on both Thursday and Friday, you can watch basketball from 12:15 to 12:40. I'm talking about PM to AM. So you got basically 12 plus hours of basketball. And they are there are 4 networks: TNT, CBS, True TV, and TBS. CBS and TBS and TNT, True TV. I will be into that Friday Santa Clara, Kentucky game. 12:15 is a CBS game. Other games I wanted to mention: USF Louisville is a game I want to watch. 1:30 on TNT, and VCU North Carolina. That sounds like a good game too. 6:50 on TNT. But the bottom line is, guys, you know that there are games everywhere, and they'll be going on. And I'm sure that Ryan at the Swamp is going to get you set up to be able to watch multiple games. It's going to be a great, great weekend. Let's see if the Gators can get it done. When I come to you Monday, I want to be talking about how Florida's going to match up with somebody on following weekend, right? That's my goal. That's all I go. I feel confident. Okay. I'm trying to get positive vibes going because I'm trying to get positive vibes and then have them go somewhere. All right. Thanks again to Jeff Darlington for coming on. Coach Spur will join us again on Monday, and we'll see what he has to say about Florida basketball and other things going on. Zach, incredible job as always handling this show, and we will be back with a new show on Monday. I can't wait. Look forward to it. Until then, for another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Gator Studios, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I am way back, and I am out of here.